So in triangles, what makes a side bigger than another side? And don't say, because that one looks bigger. Mathematically, how can we tell? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with, we'll just say, one side of a triangle. And now we're going to take another stick, and we're going to join it right there. And we're going to make a, let's just say, approximately 10-degree angle. We'll say that's 10 degrees. What you do is you look at the side opposite that's formed by those. So we'll pretend that we have some stretchy string here. That's how long the side is opposite if it was a 10-degree angle. Okay? So now what we're going to do is let's make that angle bigger. Let's pretend that now we're going to keep that same blue stick, but now we're going to make a, we'll say, 75-degree angle. Look at how long that stretchy string is now to go from the blue all the way to the green. So the bigger the angle that makes the opposite side is going to give you a longer side. Okay, so you can imagine, what if we were to make, with this purple stick here, a 120-degree angle approximately. Now look how long that stretchy string is to get all the way out there. Okay, so I think you get the idea. The bigger the angle, the longer the opposite side will be. So that should make these next couple examples pretty easy. First of all, you can't answer these questions until you know what all three angles are. So this guy is going to be 50 degrees because triangles always add up to 180. So if we're going to name from shortest to longest, the smallest angle is angle C. So that means angle C is out of the picture. It's the opposite side. So that means the shortest side will be AB. Okay? Then you have to go to your next angle. So the middle angle would be 60 degrees. So we have to ignore angle A because it's the side opposite of angle A that we're going to be looking at. So next would be BC. And by process of elimination, the biggest angle is 70 degrees. So if we look opposite of angle B, we are left with the longest side, AC. And that's all you have to do. You just have to look at the side opposite of certain angles. So why don't you take a few seconds and do the next example. So the first thing you should have said is this is 70 degrees. So your shortest side would be YZ because that's what's opposite of 30 degrees. Next would be XZ because that's what's opposite of the 70. And your longest would be XY because Z is the biggest angle and that's what's opposite of angle Z. So there you go. Now this next set of problems is the exact same thing, only backwards. So now you just have to name the angles from smallest to biggest. Well, that's the same thing. If your biggest side is BC, that means your biggest angle is going to be angle A. Same type of process. If your shortest side is 6, that means the angle that makes that shortest side is angle C. So by default, angle B is going to be in the middle. Same type of problem, just working backwards. You try the next one. Pause the video, press play when you're ready. And you should have ended up with angle Y, angle X, and angle Z. And if you have that order, you did it correctly. Okay. Do these three sides make a triangle? So we get to draw some more pictures just for fun. So let's just say one side of a triangle is 10 units. And let's say we take another piece and we say that he's 4. Let's take another piece and say that he's 3. Are they going to match and meet? The answer is no, it's not. If we were to drop them down on top of this, you know, this is 3, this is 4, you're still missing 3 units just to make that line. So that's definitely not going to work. Let's try something else. So let's keep that same first one. So we'll keep our 4 units. And now let's try 6 units. What would happen if we had 6 units? Now, again, if you were to drop them down, they would meet because you would have 4 and 10, but you have no room to have any elevation. So that's not going to work either. And then finally, if you caught on to what we're doing here, you need to have 2 sides that need to be bigger than the third side if they are going to join up somewhere other than on that line. So maybe this would be 7 and this would be 5. And then it would match because you have more room to make a triangle. So those would overlap each other, so you would have extra room to bring them up and make them meet. So basically, the rule of thumb is the 2 short sides need to add up to be bigger than the third side. Okay, so this is pretty simple to do. 3 plus 6 is equal to 9. That's bigger than 8. So yes. 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. That is not bigger than 8. So no. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. That is bigger than 5. So yes. Okay? Now, there's another way you can do this. You can arrange them in numerical order. And then you can just do A plus B minus C. If you have a positive number, it's yes. If you have 0 or a negative, it's no. That's another way you can do this. So 6 plus 6 minus 13 is equal to a negative 1. No. 5 plus 11 minus 11 is equal to a positive 5. So yes. 5 plus 8 minus 13 is equal to 0. So no. So there's 2 different ways you can do it. It's going to give you the exact same answer, so you just basically need to pick what you want. Because if the third side is bigger than the other 2 combined, 6 plus 6 is 12 minus 13, it's going to bring you to the negative. So it's the same as doing it the other way up here. So whatever method works better for you, use it. Last question. Find the range of the third side. So 3 and 8. Let's pretend those are the small ones. They have to add up to be bigger than the third one. But let's also pretend that one of these guys is the biggest one. Let's pretend 8 is the biggest one. Then x needs to add up to be bigger than 8, so he would need to be bigger than 5. So how do we do this? Well, it's pretty simple. You just pretend x needs to be somewhere in between 2 numbers. How do you get those 2 numbers? You subtract the 2 that you have, and you add the 2 that you have. 8 minus 3 would be 5, is less than x, which is less than 8 plus 3 is 11, and that makes perfect sense. 8 plus 3 is 11. And remember, these have to add up to be bigger than x. So that means x has to be smaller than 11. Hence, x is less than 11. But if 8 was the biggest one, then x plus 3 has to be bigger than 8. So that's why x has to be bigger than 5. Okay? So obviously this next one, simple enough. X is going to be needing to be bigger than 3 because 10 minus 7 is 3. But it needs to be smaller than 17. So those 2 small ones can add up to be bigger than it. And that's it. So there's one last thing I'm going to let you guys see, but we're not going to do it on this video. This is going to be a challenge for you to try. I would like you to name the 5 sides from shortest to longest in this particular diagram. So you only have 5 sides. You do not get to use BD twice because it's in 2 different triangles. BD is technically considered 1 side. So can you do it? Can you name the 5 sides from shortest to longest? That is your challenge. If you think you can do it, let me know in class. Bring it in on a piece of paper. All right, this is Longo, and I'm out. See you, bye.